Hello, hello, hello. Hopefully that's all loud and clear. Just say in a live chat if you can hear me or not. Okay. I think everything's up and running. Yeah. Well, hello and welcome to obviously Frl Season 15, not 16, Driver Awards, where obviously we'll be looking back at last season's best drivers across all the tiers and just seeing who won all the awards. We obviously did this for Season 14, and it went well. And this time we've gone. Well, the graphics look quite nice, as you can see here. Hopefully everyone can celebrate obviously the drives from last season. And without further ado, we'll obviously move straight away onto the F1 for the driver awards. So the next category is obviously Mr. Lou. Add in the champions as well. So obviously Frl Lou won season 15, 6 wins, 7 poles, 9 podiums, 228 points, which puts him 5th or equal 5th on the all-time Frl drivers of all time in terms of championships. Obviously dominated the season, and it'll be interesting to see if Lou can do how we can do in the season 16 next season. And yeah, he was obviously probably the most dominant, I think, out of all the champions across all the tiers. Obviously, F4 went down to the wire. F3, I think a few rounds before the end, Bobby was in a fight there. And then obviously F2 went down to the penultimate round, but Lou was champion very early on. So obviously, well done to Lou for becoming champion. Next category is F1 Season 15 Awards Best Race, which was won by Australia and Miami. I'm not an F1 driver, but obviously F2, but Australia, obviously with the new track layout, obviously went down quite well with all the drives, a lot better overtaking. And Miami, once again, a new track layout, probably a lot of drivers enjoyed that. And that is the best race. Okay, now the best teammates of Frl F1 Season 15. I don't think it's too much of a surprise that it is the Williams pairing of T-Hawk and Lou, winning 2/3 of the vote. A pretty decent majority. And yeah, I mean, the Williams pairing obviously worked well. Obviously, not being teammates before, both representing Frl, which you'd love to see. And won the constructors, I think, fairly comfortably. I don't know who's their closest opponents, but obviously Hawk, he's won at least 2 or 3 constructors now. And Lou, I believe, won the best teammates last season for F1. So that's an award for him twice in a row. Lou already twice in here. Going to be quite a common occurrence, you'll probably see. But yeah, we'll move on to the cleanest driver, who's always clean, usually turns up, and 50% of the votes gave it to MedTC, the cleanest driver of F1. 0 penalty points this season, very easy to race with, doesn't really get involved in many incidents, and obviously that will get you more and more points. So obviously well done to MedTC, if he's watching, which I doubt. Most consistent, once again, Lou winning 2/3 of the vote. I mean, if you're always at the front, you're probably going to be given most consistent awards. Yeah, Lou always at the front, no matter what. I don't think that was many times, or if any times he finished outside the points. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, very strong season for him. See if he can maybe win most consistent next season. It would be interesting. I think last season it might have been given to Montana. So Lou, definitely, it's a great award to get, especially in Frl F1. Not the easiest to be most consistent with the competition. So now, the most improved Frl F1 Season 15 driver. And this was given to Mr. T-Hawk. 50% of the votes. I think he consistently came, I think, just outside kind of a podium position, but always well inside the points. But yeah, T-Hawk, obviously, very good driver. improved a lot from last season. Last season he was in, I believe it was McLaren with Ruti Hiller, and he wasn't really performing as he would have liked. He was actually F2 in pre-season, moved up obviously to F1, and he's been performing very well. See if he can continue that next season. Well, obviously Tuesday we'll have pre-season to see where T-Hawks and all the other drivers' pace is at. Maybe he can improve even more, maybe even win a championship. But his teammate Lou will probably have something to say about that. And then best newcomer. I think only competing in one race. We didn't have many newcomers to Frl F1 season 15. Or not, well, we had a fair few, but not many who stuck around with us long. But Max TU, I believe he won Baku. Or he definitely won a race. Or it might have been Britain. I can't remember exactly. But Matt RC, very fast driver, joined for a race, won the race, and RC best newcomer. I think that's fair. And then the biggest bottle. This is obviously an award you don't want to be given, no matter what tier you're in, especially in F1. But the biggest bottle was given to Macho. 58% of the vote. So a fair few think Macho is the biggest bottle. The only negative award of the awards. But I'm sure Macho next season will become a little bit bottleless and maybe take a few more wins. I think he did get a few wins this season, but a lot of bottles, clearly, the F1 drivers think. And then we have best qualifier. Mr. Lou, once again, always hitting the front. I don't think that's any surprise. 58% of the votes once again. But, yeah, makes sense. Lou, obviously, very fast, both in the race and on one lap. Very tough driver to beat. So, no surprises there for the Williams man. Then the next one is Best One-Off Performance. And I'm not sure if Zero's watching, but he has got an award tonight. And that is obviously Japan, where Zero was oh so close to taking a win. But obviously stewards sadly couldn't help him with Vaporizer taking a win there. But Zero having a very good performance after actually coming midway, joining halfway through the season for F1. And actually having quite a good string of results. So interesting to see how we can do next season. Where obviously if you haven't been following or check the Twitter, he's obviously in F1 and you can see all the drivers, what tier they are for their initial tier placements for pre-season this weekend. And then obviously F2. F2 World Champion, lovely graphic there. Not the Dutchman, the Belgian, I should say. 5 wins, 5 poles, 6 podiums, 200 points. And Pepin, very fast driver. Obviously, from racing in F2, I obviously know a little bit more about the F2 drivers than the F1 drivers. But yeah, Pepin, absolutely rapid, tier above the rest. I don't think anyone can say it was undeserved, the championship from him. And here we go, best race given to Belgium and Austria. Belgium obviously was a sprint race. Not many leagues have Belgium as a sprint race, but it worked quite well, having plenty of overtakes. I believe Pepin won the feature race for that, just if you're wondering. And I think the sprint was won by David, I dare say. I think it was David. And in terms of Austria obviously also a sprint race. Obviously great racing, 3 DRS zones, so plenty of overtaking always available there. And a quite good track to race with. And then here we move on to the best teammates. One of these drivers have left us, so maybe that gives it away, but it is Mr. David and Mr. Charlie. Charlie obviously still with us, but David started the season off very strongly, actually leading the championship, but slowly fell away. But these two obviously worked together really well, especially in Belgium, where I think they did different strategies. It didn't really work out for them, but they've always been there trying to change things up in the team and always working together quite well. And now we move on to the cleanest driver in F2, where there's been 2 drivers who have been given the award. Mr. Watermelon, with obviously an interesting driver's photo. And, of course, Pelly. Pelly, obviously, both these drivers getting 0 penalty points. Pelly doing a fair few of the races as well, so that's quite respectable. But, yeah, Watermelon and Pelly, cleanest drivers of F2, well done to them. And now we move on to most improved driver. And this is no surprise that it is Pepin with a whopping 88% of the votes. I think that's one of the more dominant wins in terms of the awards. Obviously, Pepin, I think last season had a lot of DNFs, very inconsistent in season 14 or should I say Season 9 of F2. And obviously this time Season 10 of F2's improved massively, winning the championship, and see if he can maybe a season later in Season 16 of Frl F1 where he's been placed, maybe even challenge for another title. But that's to be seen, as my laptop is absolutely overheating, but we will still soldier on. Most consistent award, once again a pretty big margin with a lot of drivers thinking Mr. Evo won most consistent driver of Frl F2. I think Evo is on like a 10 race, or the whole season I think he's scored points or something ridiculous. Evo's got the best point streak at the end of the season of like at least 10 races, very consistent, always in the points, couple podiums here and there. I think he won a race. I think, yeah, just looking Britain, he obviously won. And yeah, it's been a great season for Evo. See if he can keep it up into Season 16. Best newcomer, Standing Crib. Maybe a bit of a controversial one. Standing, obviously, he was a bit aggressive in the last few rounds, but he got the job done. He got a lot of points. And as soon as he came in, everyone knew he was very fast and very tough to race against. So, yeah, well done, Standing Crib. 73% of the votes. Very tough man to beat on the track, for sure. Biggest bottle, my teammate, Mr. Ryan, with 38% of the votes. Yeah, not too sure what to say here, but Mr. Ryan clearly, many people think, is the biggest bottle of Frl F2. As I said, not the best award you want to be getting, but you know, I cannot complain. I cannot complain. Best qualifier, once again, big majority. Pepin with 87% of the votes. Big majority. Pepin, very good on the 1 lap pace as well as the race pace. So just like Lou, no surprises there. And the best one-off performance, Evo taking his 2nd award of the evening, or of the morning I should be saying, with winning and obviously in Britain, 43% of the vote, so maybe a bit more split. But Evo, yeah, had a very good race around Britain. I think it was his only race win of the season, but slowly going up through the tiers, having very good performances here and there. Maybe he can do it in Frl F1 where he's been placed next season, but that'll be very tough for him next season. But we'll see what Evo can do, whether he'll be in awards again next season. And we move on to Frl F3 with a lovely graphic from Mr. Evil Zook. Obviously Berra, F3, won 5 races, 3 poles, 7 podiums, and 172 points. And he didn't make all the races as well, so Berra, very impressive there. Obviously, it was every race he did do, he was very much up there on the podium. We have 12 races to put it in perspective, and he's won 5 of them. So just below half of the races in F3 he has won. 172 points, not as many as Pepin, 200 obviously, but Berra didn't do as many races. But Berra, once again, another NSX champion. We've had Montana, Unseen might have won a championship, I might be wrong there, but Berra as well now goes down in the history books. Very well done to RC Berra in F3. Best race for F3. Britain, with 39% of the votes. I don't know who won this race, but RC Britain, once again, a lot of the drivers finding it's a great place for racing. Plenty of overtakes. We've seen many moments, just like Max Verstappen, RC, and Lewis come together. So yeah, fair enough. Britain, obviously, best racer of Frl F3 Season 7. Best teammates, Zook and VIP GTA Gamer. These two obviously, I think came 4th or 5th in the standings in the Constructors. But once again, these two work together, practice a fair bit for Frl F3. Although Evil Zook might correct me and say they don't practice much. But yeah, VIP and Evil Zook, not in the same tier next season. So they won't probably be teammates next season unless one of them has a really bad or really good pre-season. But Evil Zook, VIP working together, and obviously that wins you more points in the Constructors. And obviously every championship counts. Unless you're Max Verstappen, of course, in Brazil. Cleanest driver, Evil Zook, 2 in a row. 72% of the votes. Mr. Evil Zook. Clean driver, of course. 0 penalty points this season, just like all the drivers who have been nominated for cleanest driver. F3, one of the more dirtier tiers, so that's probably quite a good award to get, because he probably sticks out like a sore thumb, because there's a lot of drivers in F3 who are very aggressive and like to get their elbows out. But well done to Evil Zook. Always great to have our clean drivers in each tier. Most consistent, NSX Barra, half the votes. So not everyone thinks he's the most consistent. Won a lot of races, a lot of podiums as well. So I would probably put my bet down as Barra being most consistent. But yeah, well done to Barra. And now, once again, the worst award you can possibly get, but this time it's for F3. It's for our head admin, Mr. Sadio Mano. Oh, I've done that wrong. Give me a sec. There we go. Wait. I've just gone in the wrong order. Never mind. Here we go. There we go. Most improved it is. Then bottle. Well, that gives away who's the bottle. But most improved, Bullboy, Casti and Sen. So the first awards where all the votes have been split 3 ways. With obviously Bullboy improving a lot. Many people think. I think he came 3rd in standings. Sen came 2nd in the standings. And Casti, obviously, I think he, compared to previous seasons, he used to DNF quite a lot the last couple of seasons, but he's definitely stepped that up. And well done to all of them. And now we've got Best Newcomer. And Mr. Berra making his return to FRL. 89% of the votes. Coming straight in, winning a title. And he's going to be racing next season in FRL F2. Interesting to see how he does, whether he can go up a tier and improve and win another title. But Berra, without a shadow of doubt, Best Newcomer for sure. And now, if I didn't give it away, here it is. Biggest bottle, Sadio Mano, the head admin, half of the votes. I think he did quite well, to be fair to him, at the start of the season. I might be mistaken. But clearly, many people think he couldn't get the wins down, couldn't get the points down, couldn't get the podiums down. And Sadio Mano, he was one of the top admins in FRL, but definitely not one of the top drivers, clearly, in F3. And now, best qualifier. However, Sadio, maybe this shows why he's the biggest ball. He did get best qualifier with half the votes, so maybe his race wasn't as good as his qualifying. And Sphinx, who I believe Sphinx retired in every single race he participated in. So maybe these two are a bit of a qualifying merchants. But either way, they have won an award. Well done to them. I'm very jealous. No awards for myself, of course. And we'll move on to the best one-off performance. And this is by Mr. Rackler, with 41% of the votes. Almost said Evil Zook for some reason. In the Austrian feature race, where he took P1. So Rackler doesn't win as much as obviously he used to, but not an F3 champion, unlike his teammate Mark van Dong. But very well done to Rackler winning the feature race. He goes quite well at Austria, I think, as a trend. So well done to Rackler, winning an award tonight. And here we go, moving on to the last tier, F4, a brilliant graphic with JB winning his first ever title. I know Stephen in the comments is probably sobbing, hoping this would have been him. But, I mean, JB, definitely one of the, not as dominant, if you look at the wins, even the podiums, comparing it to Berra, he won 3 less and 3 less poles. But JB, so consistent in the points. It's unbelievable. Really, I would expect him to definitely get the most consistent award, but I wouldn't know. But anyway, we're on to best race, where it's been a 3-way tie between Austria, the sprint, Britain and Japan. Japan obviously was where Brookie was out the title fight. I believe that's where O'Stephen made up points on JB. I was commentating on that race. Absolutely phenomenal race. If you want to rewatch it, just the last few laps, I would do if I were you. Made the championship go down to Brazil. Brilliant race in Japan. In terms of Austria sprint, obviously a sprint race. As usual, absolute chaos in F4. I believe in the Austria sprint, in the sprint itself, I think Jesse was leading and then got taken out by a ghosted car. And then in the feature race, I believe it was... dare say O'Stephen, but I might be wrong, who won the race. Or maybe it was Jesse. I think it was Jesse who got redemption, possibly. And then obviously Britain, where O'Stephen won his home race. Brilliant spelling from Evil Zook, but we'll just ignore that. But yeah, lovely graphics and yeah, great races. Absolute chaos in all the races, but that's what you expect with Frl F4. Most consistent, and that's been given to the two horse drivers of JB and Brookie. I think that's quite fair. JB and Brookie obviously very, very consistent this season, and especially JB. I feel like this. This is the what's called Best Teammates Award. I think there's been a graphics issue, but JB and Brookie Haas winning Best Teammates Award. Obviously, father like son. Won a lot of races between them. Brookie very much better in a qualifying. JB very much better in a race, but they always seem to finish alongside each other at the finish line. So, well done to Haas winning their first award. Cleanest driver, Frl Yuri. Funny profile picture there. But cleanest driver, yeah, Frl Yuri. No penalty points. Very clean to race with. Usually backs out if there's always a battle, and never likes to get too much of a damaged wing, I feel like. But very good to be the cleanest driver in Frl F4. Good habit to have if you can take it up with you. And he's obviously Frl F3 next season, so goes up a tier. Partly because there's no Frl F4 next season, but cleanest driver to Yuri for Frl F4. Will this be the last Frl F4 cleanest driver award? Who knows? Most consistent, as we finally get onto it. JB winning half the votes, obviously, as I said, constantly in the points and always sometimes getting a podium, but generally you always know Mr. Obviously JB is always going to be right up there in terms of all the points. You don't even need to watch the stream. And now we move on to the most improved driver of Frl F4 Season 3. And I think this is very fair. It's little Brookie, the man who was DNFing left, right and centre. He actually has the record for most DNFs in Frl. I think it's 76, which is, to put it into perspective, that's about 3 or 4 seasons of Frl he's DNF'd. So he's been around a while, DNF'd a lot, but this season he's been winning races, taking poles. Little Brookie, maybe some will say he is Frl F3 pace, where he is going next season. But Brookie, yeah, very deserved with the award. Obviously, I think O. Stevens said he put on some of his assists and it served him well. He's definitely increased the race pace. But well done to Brookie. Best newcomer, Football Nitro. I think that's the most dominant win of the votes. 90% of the votes. Football Nitro came straight in. I think like Britain, for example, we had a healthy lead over O. Stephen before wet conditions. But Football Nitro won a few races. Very quick. Going to Frl F2 next season, I believe. Very fast driver. Obviously made an impact straight away. And I mean, if he joined the season, because he came halfway through, or he came a little bit later than when the season started. If he joined at the very start, who knows? We could have had maybe a 3-way title fight into the last race of the season. However, we will now move on to the award you don't want to be getting for Frl F4. But in Frl F4, maybe it's a bit more excused because obviously it's the lowest tier, so you're just trying to get used to the Frl conditions. But it is Frl Jesse with 80% of the votes celebrating. But yeah, biggest bottle, something you don't want to be getting, but to be fair to Jesse, he did win a lot of races, but clearly a lot of people think he bottled a lot. One of the fastest drivers in F4, but sadly couldn't always make those results count. But he is looking very good, Frl F2 next season, so see what he can do in pre-season. Catch that tomorrow, 7 PM BST if you want to. Now, best qualifier, as I alluded to earlier, Mr. Brookie, absolute monster in qualifying. I think in Italy, his time would have put him top 3 in Frl F2. Something ridiculous like that. Brookie very fast in qualifying, a bit less so in the race, but the raw pace is there for Brookie. Very fast man indeed. And now, the best one-off performance goes to Mertener in Belgium, where he took the win. And for Mertener, obviously, very fast driver at times, but usually fighting in that midfield of Frl F4. So to win a race, I can't blame them, especially in Belgium. Very well done to him. And that is it. That is the Frl Season 15 Driver Awards. Obviously skimmed through them pretty quickly. But obviously well done to all the champions of Frl. well done, obviously, to all the drivers winning all the awards. Plenty of awards, I think 9 in each tier, so 36 awards given out, quite a lot. And obviously, well done to everyone taking part in FRL last season. And we will have, if anyone wants to know the tiers, you can go over to the Twitter, as I said, Fantari at Fantari Racing, to check the tiers for tomorrow. Tomorrow we will have F2 and F3 racing, 7 p.m. BST. Will be very exciting to see all the drivers go back onto the track and see where they stock up against each other. And then obviously we have on Tuesday, we have FRL F1 with a very spicy grid, commentated over by Stephen and James. Tomorrow is obviously Pepin and Evo for F3, and F2 is Michael F1 and Nick for F2. But yeah, that is all. Very quick stream or quick broadcast, whatever you want to call it. And hopefully we'll be doing this next season for season 16. But yeah, without further ado, thank you for watching, and we will see you tomorrow for the FRL F2 and F3 stream. Adios.